This contest scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Wilmington, North Carolina, Charlie Dreamer. Charlie Dreamer. His opponent from Warner Robins, Georgia, Officer Chris Jacobs. Chris Jacobs, one fall.
Well, fans, we're back with another great match here. We've got Officer Chris Jacobs in against newcomer Charlie Dreamer from the Carolinas. Been competing all around the Southeast for quite a few years now. First time we've had an opportunity to see him here that I'm aware of at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Of course, very familiar with the Officer. Go behind, takedown, waistlock. We've noted before, Officer Chris Jacobs has an amateur wrestling background, quite proficient in the catch-as-catch-can style of professional wrestling, but also in the standard amateur style of professional wrestling. Dreamer throws him off, caught with a shoulder block coming off. Quick cover, hook a leg, just one.
Charlie Dreamer is Axl Rose's favorite professional wrestler, and in the North Carolina area, he is a very well-known competitor.
And he wears tassels.
And he wears tassels. Can't go wrong with the tassels. There's a nice side headlock. He keeps it wrenched in here, is Officer Chris Jacobs. Chris Jacobs has been working a little bit with Mr. Wrestling 2, who will be here September 23rd at Johnny G's Fun Center for that TV taping. And there's a reverse on the headlock here is Charlie Dreamer. Shoulder tackle from Charlie Dreamer.
Rolls through on that, comes up, flying drop kick. Got some good height on that right there. Now it's Chris Jacobs being schooled a little bit by Charlie Dreamer, a little bit unexpected. We got to remember, though, that Chris Jacobs is still relatively inexperienced in the wrestling wars. Dreamer has a few years on him in competition, and he's taking advantage of that experience now. Chris Jacobs has a lot of heart, and we've seen that in past contests here at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Up and over. There's a leapfrog right there. Drop kick of his own. Didn't catch all of it, but enough to go for the cover. Barely a 2 count. Dreamer kicks out, goes into the ropes, comes up, thrown in, duck down, grabs him, neck breaker, and solidly executed.
Solid execution and a nice experience shown by Charlie Dreamer, as Officer Jacobs definitely showed his hand a little too early on that one.
Dreamer wasn't able to hook the leg quickly enough. Jacobs able to kick. Body slam. Dreamer comes off, drops an elbow hard. Jacobs trying to roll over, doesn't get a chance. Again, tried to hook the leg, didn't have a chance to get a full hook on it, only a 2 count. Jacobs, though, is on his bicycle at this point, or trying to be.
Oh, a nice fisherman suplex there. This might have Officer Jacobs thinking about going back to the police academy.
Now wrenching that neck at an angle it doesn't want to go.
Crowd starting to get a little bit behind Officer Jacobs.
He's a popular athlete here at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Of course, at one point when AJ Steele was injured, it was Officer Chris Jacobs who was standing up to Murder One for a period of time and suffered a little bit as a result of that. But now what he has is a newcomer, Charlie Dreamer, trying to make a reputation on Chris Jacobs in his first appearance at Rampage Pro Wrestling, and that's what you got to do when you come into Rampage Pro Wrestling. You better establish yourself quickly, because it's hard to make it onto this roster as a full-time competitor when you've got the competition and you've got the quality of athletes that we do.
That is a very accurate statement. And Officer Chris Jacobs, he stood up for AJ Steele. He's befriended Doc Gate, and he keeps getting opportunity after opportunity because of that. But if Charlie Dreamer pulls a victory right here, that it's got to elevate Charlie Dreamer in the eyes of the Ben Masters and some other people.
Certainly, promoters and matchmakers here are looking for solid competitors, and so far Dreamer has been one of those. Release on that. Now hooks him up, takes him down to a version of a Samoan drop right there. Cover. There's 2. Kick out barely before the count of 3. That was 2.5 for sure. Now Officer Jacobs is signaling with Mr. Wrestling 2 coming in on the 23rd. Maybe we're going to see something a bit similar.
There
right
it is.
There, the big knee.
Huge knee lift and a huge victory for Officer Chris Jacobs. Defeating the debuting Charlie Dreamer.
Chris Jacobs.
I don't know if you remember this, but a while back, Mr. Wrestling 2 spent some time with Chris Jacobs, taught him the basics of that running knee, the knee that made Mr. Wrestling 2 famous. Chris Jacobs has been working on it steadily since then, and it looks like he's got it down. Wonder if he'll be able to show Wrestling 2 how much he's improved since the last time he saw him, next time he's here. Fans, we've got some stuff coming right up Dan Masters is going to head us into. Let's head to Dan Masters.